Hey Martin, what are you doing?
Hey Grant, we get a lot of questions about whether one should use Cloud Functions or Cloud Run. When should one use which one?
Yeah, let's show some examples.
Sounds great. CritterWatch has come to us and asked, should they use Cloud Functions or Cloud Run for their service? They built wildlife cameras, so you can put one of the cameras in your backyard or out in the forest, and whenever an animal passes in front of the camera, it takes a picture and uploads it to the cloud. Now, those pictures uploaded to the cloud, they want machine learning to work on those pictures, identify what species of animals were in the pictures, and then insert these sightings into a Firestore database. So, Grant, should they use Cloud Functions or Cloud Run? What do you think?
Well, looking at the selection grid, they probably should use Cloud Functions. They could use Cloud Run, but it requires a little bit more configuration. And with sending a Google Cloud Storage event to PubSub to Cloud Run, it's a little bit more complicated, where Cloud Functions does this automatically.
Got it. What would the code look like for this?
Yeah, let's go dive into VS Code.
Yeah. So here's the code for the function that analyzes the image. Now, Grant, what happens here in the beginning of the function?
Yeah, so we're going to set up the Vision API and the Firestore API. And then we're going to go and track a couple of the animals. Things you might see in your backyard, like raccoons, alpacas, peacocks, dogs, geckos.
Wow, your backyard is a lot more exotic than mine, Grant.
And then we'll go and define a function. So this is triggered whenever a cloud storage bucket, there's a change there.
Oh, so we as developers don't call this function. Google Cloud Platform calls it. Is that right?
Yep. It detects the event automatically and calls this function.
And the event being?
So whenever a new file is uploaded to this particular bucket.
Okay, so that is a camera out there in the field, uploads an image. Got it. And then what does this function do with the image?
So then with the image event, it goes and uses the Cloud Vision API against that file. And with the result, it returns a JSON object with a bunch of different labels of what it finds in the image. So it could be things that aren't animals, but we only really care about the animals.
Oh, that's right. It could be like a fence or lawn furniture or things like that. But
yeah,
it seems like we extract we extract only the animal tags here. Cool. And then it looks like down on line 30, we do something with that extracted animal tag.
Yep. And so then we check if it's a tracked animal, then we upload to the Firestore database in the collections with the animal name, and then with our data.
Okay, cool. So that's a one-liner that just creates the record in the database. Love that. Okay, cool. The code looks like it's doing the right thing, I think, but who knows? Does it actually work in real life?
$1 million question.
Another one, yes.
Let's deploy it. Okay. So we have our handy dandy deploy script.
Oh, I love those deploy scripts. So this is, you could have typed out the full command, but it's often easier to have a deploy script. Also, this is kind of the script that you would put at the end of your CI/CD pipeline, right? Typically, you wouldn't type it in, but your CI/CD system would, whenever there's an update to the main branch, it would probably run something like this. And I see you pulled it up. What happens here on these lines, Grant?
Yeah, so we're going to use gcloud functions deploy, providing our function name.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to specify our runtime. In this case, we're using Node.js 10. We could provide like Python 3.7 or Ruby or even .NET.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to specify a couple parameters for the trigger. We're going to trigger whenever a new file is uploaded to the CritterWatchers bucket, and only trigger this whenever the object is finally uploaded.
So finalize means the upload is done. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. It looks in the terminal there, it looks like your deployment script finished. How do we exercise this code? How do we make it run to see if it actually inserts something into Firestore?
Well, we can go and trigger the function just using the browser.
Oh, cool. So you will pretend to be a camera, huh?
Yep. So
Okay.
I mean, so let's go and add some images to our camera into our bucket and see if our function works.
Great.
So I'm going to just drag and drop a couple files.
Very good.
And
they all uploaded.
very nice.
All right. So now for each of these 4 files, our analyze image function should have been triggered once. And the analyze image inserts into Firestore. So if everything worked, we should see 4 records in Firestore. Is that right?
Yes. If we go check our database and refresh and go see, we should have some new records.
Oh, I see alpaca, dog, gecko. Could you make the font bigger, Grant?
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you.
I can see all of our images are classified.
Excellent. So alpaca there, can we see, what does the alpaca photo look like?
So yeah, just in the photos URL, see wild alpaca.
So are we sure though that this is an alpaca and not a llama?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. At least that's what the tour guides told me in Cusco in Peru.
Oh really? You took this picture?
Yeah, I took the photo, and so I'm sure we have the rights to it, and we can use it, and you can even download it.
Ah, excellent. I will sleep a lot better tonight knowing that we haven't violated somebody's copyright. This is great. Also, I feel really good about we have a tour guide and we have the Vision API both saying it's an alpaca and not a llama. Okay, cool. So this event-driven function now works. CritterWatch can use this. All the cameras will call it implicitly when they upload images that they're taking in the field. Now, CritterWatch is really happy with this. It just runs. It's not a lot of code. But eventually, they discovered that they will want to have a REST API in front of this database. And the reason is that they will have applications, web applications, mobile applications, where you can see photos of, like, I want to see all the alpacas that have gone through my backyard. So they want to put that REST API in front of the database. They also want to be able to do traffic splitting, so canary deployments, like they deploy a new version of the REST API, and they want to be able to then send only, for example, 1% or 10% of the traffic to the new version. They also, of course, want to put their own domain name in front of this REST API, so it would be like CritterWatch.api.com or something. And finally, their CTO has said that containers is strategic for them. Now, again, we have Cloud Functions and we have Cloud Run. Given these requirements, what should they use to build their REST API, Grant?
Good question, Martin. Well, looking at the selection grid, it looks like they should probably use Cloud Run. I mean, they could use Cloud Functions. When people say Cloud Functions is easier, but it doesn't support traffic splitting or custom domains, for example. So, looking at the API rows of the grid, the check boxes clearly show that Cloud Run makes a lot of sense. I mean, we could use App Engine, but they wanted containers, so let's go with Cloud Run.
Okay, Cloud Run it is. What would the code look like for this API, Grant?
Now let's go to our code editor.
All right, so we're looking at another index.js. You like Node, Grant, right?
Yep, I love Node.
Me too. I'm happy you picked Node. All right, so what's happening here? This seems to be a little more at the top of the file than we saw in the previous example.
Yeah, so whereas with Cloud Functions, you have to just write your code and you don't worry about your server as much. With Cloud Run, you have to take care of everything like listening to your port and setting up a server yourself.
Ah, I see. So the Express framework, that is a library for listening to HTTP calls that are coming in, right?
Yep. And so we
Cool.
go and set up Express here. You set up an app listening to port 8080. And we're going to also use the Firestore API. And so,
All right.
yep.
Very good. So there's a little more setup there in the beginning than for Cloud Functions, it looks like. But then the real action starts on line 11. Could you walk us through what happens there on line 11, Grant?
Sure. So we, whenever we receive a GET request to animals, we'll go and take the animal name. We'll find it in our Firestore database. If we did find something, it's not empty, then we're just going to get the actual sighting and return status success with the sighting from the database. Otherwise, we're going to just say 404, we couldn't find this animal, status failure, and say the animal wasn't found.
Okay. And animal name up there on line 11 has a colon in front of it. What does that mean?
Yeah, so this means it's a parameter for the URL. So it could be animal/fish or animal/hummingbird.
Ah, okay. So this is okay. So it's you would put your animal name in there. Got it. All right. Well, I don't know about you, Grant, but I feel another $1 million question
They
coming
come
up.
up pretty often.
Yes. Would this work?
Does it blend? Let's try it
Yes.
out.
Okay.
So I'll just go into our Critter API and go
Very
deploy.
nice. Ah, you have another little deploy script there. You really like those deploy scripts, huh?
Pretty useful.
Yeah. What does this one look like?
So this one's a little bit more complicated. As you mentioned before, you have to set up your container.
Mm-hmm.
So here on line 3, we're going to run gcloud build submit, passing a tag, which is useful for just labeling our container at gcr.io and our project name, and then also passing our project.
Okay, so that piece, lines 3, 4, and 5, they don't actually deploy the code, but they build the container. Is that right?
Yeah, they build a container with the Docker file provided, and it just sets that little Docker file and container ready to be deployed whenever.
Okay, very good. So it's not serving traffic yet. I assume that's what line 7 and onwards are all about?
Yep. And so now, once you have your container, it's all ready to go. Then you can go deploy it to Cloud Run. So you just write gcloud run deploy, providing your service name, CritterWatch REST API, providing the image we just built from before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're going to run on platform managed rather than like Kubernetes, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And provide our region. We're going to allow anybody to access this API with allow unauthenticated and also just provide our project again.
Oh, okay, very good. So again, this would probably sit at the end of a CI/CD pipeline, but we're running it interactively here to show how it works. I wonder, is it done deploying now? Do you think?
I think so. It looks like
Oh
we
yeah,
have
look at
a little link.
that. How would we exercise this and see if it actually works?
Yes. let's go check out the URL. So if we go check, for example, animals/gecko.
Okay, animal/gecko. Oh, there was a gecko sighting? I guess there was.
I guess there's a gecko sighting.
Oh,
Is that a
look
gecko?
at that.
Oh, it's so cute.
Now, I agree, but my top question is, do we actually have the rights to this picture?
Oh
Who
yeah,
took, who
I
took this picture?
I took it myself. It was
Oh.
in Central America.
Ah,
Somewhere.
lots of geckos there, huh?
Lots of, yeah, especially they're quite loud during the night. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And just to see that the other case works as well, let's search for like /animals/cat, for example. Let's see what we get.
/cat. Ooh, didn't find any
Ah.
cats.
Not found. Well, that is as expected. Great. Okay, so now this is how you can build a REST API with Cloud Run. Now, they wanted traffic splitting. So when they deploy a new version, only send a little traffic to that. How would they set that up with this REST API?
So, good question. So here we have our Cloud Run service,
Mm-hmm.
and we can go into it. And under revisions, you can see the Manage Traffic button.
And I also see a list of versions there. It looks like the top version is getting 100% of traffic. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're at the bleeding edge. We're saying all of the traffic, hey, whatever we just pushed to production, let's have all of our users go there.
Oh, the most dangerous version. All right. So now if we want to dial back the risk a little bit and send most of the traffic to the previous version, what would we do?
So we can do the manage traffic button. There's also, of course, the CLI. But let's say we probably only just want like 10% of our traffic to go to the newest version.
Yeah, that seems a lot safer. Let's do that.
So we can just press save there. And it's creating this new configuration, this new revision in the background. Pretty quick. Now only 10% of the traffic, whenever you go to this URL, will get to the latest revision.
Ah, excellent. Very good. And as you say, this can be done with a command line interface. So this could also be at the end of a CI/CD pipeline, for example. Okay, great. So that's traffic splitting, canary deployments. They can do that. The other thing they asked about was custom domains. Now they have this long URL that we see here that has a hash in it and things like that. But they want like CritterWatchAPI.com, for example. How would they put that in front of the URL of the API?
Yeah, so they'd use a custom domain. So could you walk me through that, Martin?
Yes. Let's see. This is, if you click back, service details.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. And then it's the next to create service at the top there.
This funny button. I always forget about.
And usually now we have blown up the font size really big. Usually it says like custom domains on it, but that was taken out. And then we can add a domain mapping here. And the domain mapping takes two things, of course. What service should accept URL traffic coming to this URL, and then what domain should catch these. So, of course, here we would set up just as you do with any other service like App Engine or anything else. You would set up a verified domain and walk through the steps here in Cloud Platform to verify the domain. And when you're done, now your new custom domain points to this service.
Awesome. That's a really cool feature.
Yeah, it's very useful. All right, so I think that explains it all. Hopefully that's clear. So Grant, actually, I have something to deal with over here. Could you wrap up this episode for us, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment down below. This episode was actually based off a comment. So we like to read all your comments and And please suggest maybe a topic for a future episode. Wait. Are you getting this? I just got a notification from my CritterWatch camera. Apparently, there's some animal. I wonder if it's one of those pesky little raccoons getting in my trash again. Let me check the camera. Oh, Martin.